Here's a simple fact that you always got to remember. No matter what happens in the body, the way you look, the way you feel, the way you perform, it all starts in the brain. It all starts in the brain. My name is Dr. Farhan Ph.D, and I'm a neuroscientist from the Montreal Neurological Institute and McGill University. What if loneliness and social isolation are tanking your testosterone even more than junk food, poor sleep, pesticides, and microplastics? Sure, it's easy to play the blame game and point our fingers at the government, the FDA, the USDA, and the big food corporations. And I even used to blame my parents and childhood trauma. That's what everyone's doing nowadays, right? Of course, these are all valid points, but that's not how we solve problems. Listen, bro, the government ain't changing. I don't care what RFK does. It doesn't matter who's in charge. The FDA and USDA will keep getting bribed and captured by Big Pharma. That's a dumb way to change things and argue and bitch about stuff you can't really control. Corruption and greed are human nature. We're all greedy and corrupt, right? But you know what else is human nature? Connection and bonding. And I'm going to show you in this video how you can easily boost your testosterone today by doing simple actions. Yes, you can get sunlight in the morning and do morning showers, you know, the cold showers that all the gurus are yapping about. But what I'm teaching you in this video is much deeper than all that superficial stuff. And I want to show you the simple steps that you can take to make friends, join tribes, even get a hot girlfriend or wife if you want. It's all easy. You just need to want it. You got to believe in it. So let's begin by discovering what happens in the brain when we are isolated from social contact. Obviously, this happened to us, all of us, a few years ago in the whole world when we were forced to do social distance and stay in the house during lockdowns. You remember how that felt, right? Feel that feeling of being lonely, isolated from your buddies and from nature. Feel how it was to remain in the house all day, how terrible it felt. Those negative emotions are especially detrimental to men. So let's get into the neuroscience. Here's a simple fact that you always got to remember. No matter what happens in the body, the way you look, the way you feel, the way you perform, it all starts in the brain. It all starts in the brain. Here's the first thing you got to know. Chronic loneliness increases cortisol, which you know is the stress hormone. Cortisol isn't bad on its own. In fact, cortisol wakes us up in the morning. It gets us to do things. It gets us to act when we're in trouble, and that's all good. But chronic cortisol, it's bad. That's when cortisol remains high for a long period of time. Cortisol production, of course, starts in the brain, in a region called the hypothalamus. And the adrenal gland, which is located near your kidneys, are what actually make cortisol. But what happens when you get an increase in cortisol and it remains high? Multiple studies have shown that high cortisol decreases testosterone levels in men. That's why when you're stressed, you can't perform inside the bedroom. It's hard to find that motivation to work out or to eat healthy, or to even go outside in nature. When you're stressed, you can't be happy because you're worried about something. And this can also lead to failed marriages. And it's terrible for mental health because it can lead to prolonged anxiety and even clinical depression. But you know what's worse than that? Let me tell you about a vicious cycle. As loneliness increases, what happens to testosterone? It decreases. But testosterone and dopamine are linked. One drops, so does the other. So when social isolation decreases testosterone, you will also experience lower dopamine levels. And that's why you feel unmotivated to do anything. Studies have shown that when reduced dopamine activity happens in a brain area called the nucleus accumbens, and it's located in the basal forebrain, this is the brain area. It's the same brain area that's hijacked when you watch porn. And studies have also shown that serotonin, which is the feel-good hormone, decreases both in the amygdala and in the hypothalamus in animals that are socially isolated. This hormonal activity makes you feel more lazy. You don't want to get out of bed in the morning. And guess what? This will lead to more loneliness, which will decrease testosterone levels even further. Yet, no one is talking about this. We are masking our sense of isolation by buying stupid things, non-stop scrolling on social media, and oh my God, pornography. Did you know that watching porn decreases follicle stimulating hormone, FSH, which leads to a reduced total sperm count and sperm concentration? Porn watching even reduces oxytocin and vasopressin levels. These are essential hormones required for social bonding and sexual function. Such dopamine addiction even leads men to become violent and abuse their family because there is no one out there that they can talk to about their addiction issues. And nobody wants to admit that they have erectile dysfunction. This is crazy because I used to have ED and I cured it naturally. Never did TRT, never did any synthetic pills or injections. The problem is that no one teaches us to be vulnerable and express ourselves. Everyone teaches men to be rock solid because emotion is labeled as weakness. But I am here to change that. When I was growing up, I felt completely isolated. I was afraid to be my true self and express who I truly was. I wanted romantic relationships. I was interested in girls, in sex, but I wasn't allowed to engage in such naughty behavior. So, how do you think I masked my loneliness? I hid inside my textbooks. I immersed myself in my studies. And getting those straight A's was the overcompensation for my loneliness. Let me ask you, what are you doing to mask your true feelings? You know, what are you busy with and what you are working on? How did all of this social isolation leave me? I had low T in my early 30s, lack of libido, erectile dysfunction, no muscle mass. I was 45 pounds overweight, and I had this big belly on me. And one of the big ways that I doubled my T levels was by following the tips that I'm going to give you very soon. In fact, I doubled my T levels from 376 nanograms per deciliter to 801 nanograms per deciliter. And if you want to know more about my testosterone transformation, there are several videos that I've made. They're on the YouTube channel. Please go watch them. But let's now dig deeper into the science so you can truly feel why I'm so passionate about this stuff. A study done in guinea pigs in the Journal of Physiological Behavior showed that there is a big effect of social isolation on hormones. They found that male animals who were kept in colonies had higher testosterone than the ones that were kept isolated. And the authors proposed that this could be due to the increased activation of the hypothalamus, where testosterone production begins in the brain. Now, how does this pertain to modern society? Why is this even a real concern for us men? Well, according to the US Surgeon General's report in 2023, approximately 50% of US adults experience loneliness. A study published in 2023 in the Journal of Sexual Research showed that 92% of men watched porn in the last month. In a 2022 study, approximately 44% of US men from the ages of 18 to 29 watched porn in the last month. So what? Porn is okay, right? There's no real stigma around it, is there? Guys brag to each other about watching porn, don't they? Well, the Massachusetts male aging study reported that 52% of men experience some sort of erectile dysfunction. And in a 2010 review, they found that almost 20% of men regularly experience low libido and low sexual desire for their partner. But what about sexual inactivity and the virginity crisis? You ready for this? A study in 2020 reported that nearly 1 in 3 men aged 18 to 24 in the US reported no sexual activity in the past year. Look, I was a virgin until I was 32, so I can empathize. And to be honest, having a strong emotional bond with my wife has been instrumental to boosting my testosterone and overall well-being. I'm the fittest I've ever been. I even got called a superhero by one of my buddies. This made me so proud because I used to be ashamed of my body. I used to be ashamed to take my shirt off in public. But now I'm proud to take my shirt off in public and I'm 100% comfortable with it. But when I hear statistics like, for example, there's this data from the social survey that was done in 2018 that 25% of men aged 18 to 30 are virgins. Especially in places like Japan and South Korea, where birth rates are declining. And men sometimes prefer having sex with robots rather than real women. So I guess it's doomsday, right? We've hit Armageddon? No, man, not at all. I got your back. Let me give you some tips and ninja tricks on how you can reclaim your manhood and even double your testosterone levels. For me, 801 nanograms per deciliter testosterone is not enough. I want to get into the 1,000 club, like many of my students and clients have already done. Imagine, I've helped so many guys double their testosterone levels 100% naturally, and I still see all these skeptical guys out there who think TRT injections are the only solution. That's crazy, man. Here are 5 quick and easy tricks to increase your testosterone backed by science. Number 1, join a tribe, because belonging to a group increases testosterone. Oxford University did a study of rugby fans, and they found that there's an increase in testosterone by 28% during matches when these men felt a strong team loyalty. That's how it works. Remember, the hypothalamus, right? You remember that? I told you about this. Testosterone production starts in the hypothalamus, continues to the pituitary gland, and then the testes have these cells inside that synthesize testosterone. This axis, hypothalamus, pituitary, testes, is called the HPT axis, and it's stimulated when you're in a team bonding environment. So what can you do? Let me tell you what helped me the most. Over the years, I joined Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu clubs, dancing clubs, because, like salsa, which will get you that extra oxytocin from the female partner. I used to even do yoga class in Montreal when I was trying to meet girls who were interested in health and fitness and taking care of their bodies. Okay. You ready for tip number 2? Stop watching porn. Cold turkey. Back in February 2021 was the last time I saw porn. That's 4 years ago. Best decision of my life, man. Your dopamine receptors get saturated and then desensitized with pornography. That's bad. If you want to recover and reset your dopamine reward system, you gotta stop porn today. It's time to take back control of your life and start forming romantic relationships that are emotionally charged with real women. And one of the best things that happened to me when I stopped watching porn is that I met the love of my life, my beautiful wife. And you really got to trust me on this. You can do this, okay? And for extra support, join my Facebook community. It's a private group. It's for members only. But when you fill out the questions, just write on there that you came to that group through this video, and I will make sure that you get added. Tip number 3 is very rewarding. So when I was in Toronto, I volunteered at an autism clinic. It was so amazing, man. Seeing those beautiful kids interacting, and we feel so blessed at how we are as a society, because we are taking care of the disabled rather than putting these kids in mental institutions. It was truly a great experience. I met so many cool people. So why not you? What is your interest? Find an institution that you can really relate to and go volunteer there. In fact, studies have shown that volunteering for just 2 hours a week can decrease depression by 40% by increasing the love hormone oxytocin. And another study found that volunteering reduces the risk of isolation by 63% in men. But you want to do this volunteering face to face, not with screens. Tip number 4 is lovely. Get a pet. I remember when we were in Limassol, there were these 4 cats who would come by every single day, and we would pet them, we would spend time with them, we would speak to them. They were amazing. We even named some of our dead ancestors, we named those cats based on our dead ancestors. And I formed such an emotional bond with these cats. Look, I can't really have a pet because I travel so much, but whenever I do see animals, I pet them, I love them, and I bond with them. Except for those dogs in Tulum, Mexico, which are dangerous, but we'll save that for another video. A study from the journal Hormone Behavior found that just petting a dog can increase oxytocin by 27% in men. And mutual touch increased it by 39%. And here's my final tip, my absolute favorite one. Talk to a complete stranger every single day. Back in 2013 and 2014, when I started my journey of increasing testosterone, I was in Vegas picking up girls 7 days a week, 7 nights a week from clubs and bars and grocery stores and malls and pharmacies and streets and you name it. And during those times, I spoke to so many strangers, and for sure that allowed me to boost my testosterone. In fact, a 2014 study from the University of Chicago found that commuters who talk to strangers were significantly healthier and less lonely than those who stay silent. Some of the best friends that I have today, I met during cold approach. So many bonds and social relationships are made in the moment. Don't be scared. Go say hi and see the magic that happens. So what are the takeaways from this video today? It's easy to boost testosterone. You don't have to do complicated things that you don't like. Do stuff that's natural to you. Make friends. Go meet people. Connect with nature, with animals, with other humans. Let's take authentic connection back, guys. We are currently in a world that's lonely and sad. It is on us to transform it. It is our responsibility to be the change. Like this video if you found it useful. Comment and let me know what you agree with, and of course, what you don't agree with. And please subscribe to the channel and share this video with anyone who is lonely and simply needs a big hug. I'm here for them, and I'm here for you.